in hindsight, I do think that there was an order to that. Like I felt amazing after. It felt very revelational. And again, had it been a very difficult integration, probably I wouldn't have gone back. Or again, things would have taken a different trajectory. Um, there was a certain maybe naivete to me as well, in that I think like a lot of people who continue to do this work, um, like I was saying, kind of looking back with a bit of humility, like it was kind of amazing that I was able to do what I did with the tools that I had. Um, so for example, I worked a long time with the Shipibo people who, if you were at Soltara, I would guess you did as well.
Yeah.
And, it was always very funny because, for a long time I was really pushing myself and drinking a lot and, sometimes drinking big doses and, just really going through these kind of big experiences. And I'd always be kind of shocked because I'd look at them and they were drinking these tiny amounts, and I was like, are they afraid or do they just not need much? But also, I think the more one begins to do this work, there is a humility, there's a deep respect, and even a fear that can come along with this work, which I think at the time I probably just didn't have as well. And again, I think that was part of this intelligence, that it pushed me. It pushed me to huge places, but it did it in a way that didn't shock me. It did it in a way that still held me and supported me. Which, after that, there was times where I was also very much challenged in the years that followed, in the decades that followed. But again, had those points happened where I was very deeply challenged, had that happened right in the beginning, again, very likely I never would have came back. And again, the trajectory of my life would have been very different. So it also, those challenges came, but at a much later time. And I think also very much when I needed them, at a time when I had done a lot of work, when I had had a lot of dietas, when I had a much better understanding of the work, and also potentially some arrogance, some lack of humility, maybe a sense of power that wasn't quite in alignment, and it needed to very much be humbled, to be shocked, to be overblown, to really begin to understand and to work at deeper levels. And in hindsight, these plants are always testing us in a way too. In Spanish, they often speak of this idea of pruebas, of tests, of obstacles. And these plants are always testing us. They're always giving obstacles, but they're giving us obstacles that we can handle, again, with the tools that we have, with what we need. And often we don't need to struggle or to have difficult experiences, and then sometimes we do. Now, all of that has to be mitigated within the context of a system we're working with. And that's why, again, I always find it vitally important to work with people who are very good, highly skilled, much like if you're getting open heart surgery, you would want the best doctors, you would want the best environment, you would want people who really know what they're doing. You've had years of education in an environment that's sanitary, where there's support, where if something goes wrong, there can be other people coming in to address those things. But within that, if the container is set up, then all sorts of things can arise. Everything from seemingly nothing happening to complete death, rebirth experiences, and the vastness, the differentiation between what can happen from one person to the next, from one person from one day in their life to another day in their life to another year in their life, is tremendous. It's extremely, extremely vast. And so again, just kind of reiterating that point of everyone is going through an experience, and it's never inherently better or worse. It's very different, and these plants are very magical in that way, very intelligent in that way, that they are able to work with everyone where they're at.